It's me again, coming back with another video. I got more videos that I plan to do, but I want to talk about Miss Veronica, who is dealing with this naked departure thing. I saw a video that she posted a year ago of me on social media blocking the bus and saying that even before I had legs, I get on, so I am not no sweet bread, that people should run with their emotions and stuff like that. Right? Transport Board does not have the right to tell anybody disabled or not when to come in the terminal. That's the law. I have a right between the hours of 5 a.m. and midnight to catch any bus. Transport Board has put electric buses here with ramps so that people like us or like me can get around like a normal person. No supervisor can tell me when to come in the terminal. Nobody in Barbados has the right to tell me when I should be home. I'm not a little boy. I'm not a baby. I'm a big man. The only thing is that I lost my legs. Now, Miss Veronica, I don't know why people is put me on her page, but I find that Miss Veronica and this naked departure lady loves to put people on social media and does not give the entire truth. So we're going back to that situation that happened about a year ago. And the supervisor is called Chad, big thick supervisor, who recorded me when I obstructed the bus. I didn't obstruct the bus really. I actually was going in front of the bus so that I could get on the bus to go home. And I wasn't allowed to get on the bus. And excuses were made because the bus was full. It was the last bus. The bus was full, and They did not want to unload the bus to put me on and then load back the bus. They didn't want to do that. So I was angry at that. Right? I was coming home from church that same evening. I usually church finishes about 9, and then I have to try and get in the terminal by midnight. Right? So that supervisor Chad is the body who put me on social media that night. Because it went up the next morning on S News. They got this S News website that it will be on. If I am in a wheelchair and I come into a bus terminal late and the bus is full, I believe I should be able to get on the bus. I shouldn't be made to sleep in town till morning because you didn't want to offload the bus. I could have caught the Bayfield, I could have caught the San Lawrence. And both were electric buses. And both have wheelchair access. And there was no reason for me to be left in town. Because when the police came, if I had stayed longer in front of those buses, the police would have helped me get on that bus. Anyhow, Miss Veronica needs to start doing some research on people properly and stop posting things. We live in a very corrupt society in Barbados. We give the image that this is the island in the sun and we love each other, but we do not. There's a lot of hate, malice, and iniquities in the hearts of people in Barbados. And especially in public service where it comes to dealing with healthcare, transport board, the parks, the port authority, anywhere where there are unionized people, you find a measure of corruption and a measure of people picking up for one another, even if they don't have the full facts, right? Even in the police force, you go to the police, you make a report about something, they don't even follow up on it. Until you get angry and throw a knife in somebody's guts. Then they will come and lock you up and put you before a nation. Killer gets 30 years. Killer gets remand. But let me know the amount of times that person went to the police and the police said this can't happen, that can't happen, the third can't happen. Because the police has a measure of connections to that person that he or she is making the complaint for. It's all about connections, and it's nothing ever really fair in Barbados. Even in church, there are connections in the church. You will find that people who put offerings in the church and who put big donations towards it will get a lot of favor and response. Um, and help. Like for instance, if I post a Bible scripture, nobody will comment. I will feel bad. But if a notable person posts the same exact content, same as that scripture, now you can see the amount of likes and dislikes. Not dislikes really, but a lot of likes and responses from people. So there's a lot of favoritism in this country. And if you don't know people, you will be like me, always the black sheep. The boy that's standing out, the boy that can't get along, the boy that always got issues. Right? It's my constitutional right to take a bus. I can come home at any hour I please because it is my right. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to support it. But if I choose to come home every day on the midnight bus, it is my choice. The transport board is offering these services to the disabled, but they have no structure in place. People with disabilities have to pay a bus fare. People with disabilities do not get the assistance to get on and off the bus. People with disabilities are left at the bus stops because a driver don't want to stop and help the blind woman to a seat in the bus, or help the man with the walker to a seat in the bus. It doesn't have to be in transport board policy or any policy or anybody's job description to be a human being and be humane to people who are not able to do everything on their own. The mere fact that that person is another living, breathing being is enough reason for you to help that person to a seat. How do you think a person with disabilities feel when they get on the bus and don't get assisted to the seat? When they get into the chair and the driver don't strap them in or help them up the ramp as they need. How you think a person feels? How you think a person feels when they are bullied to pay a bus fare? Because there's nothing written in concrete that says a person with disabilities has to pay a bus fare or don't have to pay. But I paid the bus fare for peace sake. Right? People say that I did get in trouble thing before I lost my leg. Yes, I was. I did get trouble. And deny that I was bad. I do a lot of bad things. And who hasn't? Who hasn't done wrong? Everybody has done a measure of wrong, stupid shit in their life because they are human beings and they don't learn to from their mistakes unless they make the mistake. They have to make the mistake to then learn from it. They have to burn the bridge to understand that, yeah, that's the point of no return. You gotta live with that. All of we have done wrong things. You find that people in public service has the worst attitude ever. They curse and carry on and off the job. They don't do the jobs properly. They drive both the vehicles that belong to the company like if it's them one. Nobody's held accountable for nothing. And then everything always falls apart. Anything that is run by government does end up running into the ground. Because you have people that work in these places that do a lot of things in the dark and are not held accountable for their actions. I am not here to put nobody on blast, but I'm just telling you how it works. You go and you complain for one driver, he can bring about six managers that's part of his union. And then managers got influence to change the process. You understand? That's how it works. And then you end up looking bad. You end up being the worst person. Do you think that Chad should have recorded me and then put me on Facebook, on S News, and on Veronica page? And all of these people like S News, Veronica, and all those there, right? They never ever sit down and talk to me and say, well, tell us your side. We see how you behave. Tell us why you did that. Why this happened. Why you had to resort to that. Why you chose to behave that way. What happened. So they could get an idea of what happened. But no, they will post how bad you behave. How you blocking the road. You know that same night. Right? I got left in the rain. And all I could think about that day was, why didn't the Lord take my life and let my mother live? You understand? I was out there by ICBL in Robert Street opposite Transport Board headquarters. And I was out there in the rain in my wheelchair. So right through. When I got home, I was cold and wet, because then I had to go home on the AFC bus. So you wet, the AFC days was licking in your neck, cold and wet. Miserable, disturbed, because you had to spend a whole night. And all they had to do was offload the bus that I could get in and put back in the people in the bus. And I would have been home that night. But it escalated to the point where I protested. I protested. And maybe I protest in ways that are not good. You know? So I may protest badly, like by blocking the road, because that may not be the way. Maybe I should have, let the higher authorities know what happened. Okay, everybody got a boss. But I did what I thought was right. What I thought would gain attention to them. Let them know how I felt. I don't have all the education in the world on conflict resolution. I don't have connections and people on social media that I could talk with to put these things that I can. I mean, if I could be able to record my events and talk to people that could advise me on the right way to address these matters, I would not have to be. All of my public behavior that people say I have would not be, because at least I would feel good knowing that I could go and call this body Miss whoever, Mr. whoever, and he will hear me and tell me what to do accordingly. I don't have that. I don't have a friends list that I can say, well, I can call this person and this is what happened to me right now. What do you think I should do? I don't have that privilege. I have only myself. Once upon a time when am faced with situations, I could have called my mother and said, Mom, this is what's happening. What do you think I should do? What you would recommend I do? But I don't have that advisor anymore. I don't have that guidance anymore. So then you lean on your own understanding and your own ways, and sometimes they are not the best ways. Right? I'm not here to claim innocence or nothing. I'm not here to tell people that they should feel for me or feel. No, that's their choice. If they want to feel for me, if they want to understand my pain and help me, whatever. All I'm asking you guys is to make sure you understand the whole side of both sides. Right? This happened a year ago, right? But there are people who are in wheelchairs that goes into the bus yard and wait for a bus. But I gotta go in terminal. They built a ramp that you can come in and out the terminal, but there are people who are in wheelchairs that go out into the yard, like the supervisor, and wait for the bus. Because there's getting the bus before me.